Purdue travels to Holly Springs, North Carolina to take on George Mason this week following 3 victories in 4 games in the season opening series down in Sugar Land, Texas against Stony Brook. I'm Kyle Charters with Ben Turner and the head baseball coach Greg Goff for This Week in Purdue Baseball. It was a successful trip, 3 of 4. You'll take that every weekend of the year if you can. Particularly, winning the last 2 games in comeback fashion as you did. I mean, it has to give your team some confidence going into this week.
No doubt, Kyle. I thought the first weekend we, showed up and really played well. Overall we had, really one bad inning. We gave up 6 runs in 1 inning. Other than that, though, we played pretty clean and just the resiliency of our group. I told you guys earlier before you're going to like this team, and what a great way of finding out how much character they have the first weekend coming back, a couple of times.
The game that sort of gets lost is the Friday game, 6-0 victory by your squad. Thought your team played, very fundamental baseball in that game. And then Jordan Morales, the transfer pitcher, who we'll talk to a little bit later on in the show, just gave you a great start. I mean, that was good to see, especially for Game 1.
It was, having him here. He just brings stability, to our program. He's been there. He's done it. He's very familiar with Coach Newman and the way he calls the game. And so I thought it was a easy transition. But for what he did for us on Friday, I mean, he was phenomenal. The umpire was just so complimentary of him after the game the next day, just talking about how he located and just filled up the zone with lots of strikes and throwing all different pitches for strikes. So it was a great start. And you've got JD that came in and finished it off for us, and then we kind of extended the lead there late. And what a great way to start the year with a shutout.
Kyle makes a good point. You started the season with 12 consecutive zeros on the board. First shutout win to open a season since '91.
Wow.
So, a long stretch there. But part of the reason it got overshadowed is your 4-5 monster mash combo. I mean, Gaffney and Sutter talk about a debut for the ages for those two. 18 combined hits. Both had 9 hits total. The doubles were just all over the place. And hitting back-to-back like that, I mean, man, talk about propping up the middle of the lineup.
It was, Ben. I was so glad. We kind of talked about that the week before and the new guys and things like that. And both those guys had phenomenal weeks. And we got to get other guys going, too. Well, if we get everybody else going, they're not going to hit like that every week. It's a hard game. And but for them to show up and do what they did just really made a difference for us in the middle of the order. A lot of RBIs, a lot of extra base hits. But those guys are hard workers, Ben. I mean, there's nobody that works any harder than those two. Those guys are in the cages all the time after hours, putting in what we call that overtime. And, just phenomenal for those guys to have great weekend.
Last week we talked about the Jake Parr scenario of a guy that has his best year as a senior who was ready when the time was at hand. Luke Gaffney, it's the other end of the spectrum.
Yep.
Debuts, but man, was he ready? Breck has the handmade injury. He's out for probably till St. Patrick's Day or so.
Yep.
And Gaffney, I don't think he's played first base until he got here, right? And there he is out there, not only starting on opening day, but hitting cleanup. You told me you're not going to guess who's batting cleanup. And he was right. I mean, I thought he would be in the lineup, but I didn't expect cleanup. And then, man, big-time freshman of the week. What a story.
It is. It really is. And again, people just don't see the hard work that Luke does. He's always there. He's always working. He's just a student of the game as well, very intelligent. And the things that, I didn't really see in the game as much, but after I watched the film yesterday was his defense. He made some phenomenal plays. One ball that, Joe threw over to first, kind of a hard play, kind of brought him up the line. He had to change his feet and go get the ball. A couple of times, I think Tommy Green made a diving play in the hole, and Luke had to stay on the bag, and the umpire gave us the call. And just a phenomenal weekend for Luke. He's been waiting for this opportunity, and you're just so happy as a coach to see a young man come into your program. You redshirt him. He uses that whole year to develop, and he gets an opportunity and goes in there and does a phenomenal job.
Connor Cascanet had a big weekend as well. 2 home runs, the big one on Sunday, a grand slam that I think ended your 10 consecutive runs after Stony Brook had taken a 5-0 lead in that game early. Man, you want to talk about a guy who has made unbelievable improvements since he set foot on campus at the start of last season to where he is right now.
Yeah. He's
probably at the top of the list. He just has become a really great all-around player for you, including at the plate. He showed it this weekend.
No doubt, Kyle. I mean, he was phenomenal. But he made that decision. He stayed here this summer. His body's in such better shape. You look at him in a pair of shorts, and I mean, he's chiseled up. He's worked hard. Again, umpires talked about how well he received on Friday as well, and how a big difference he is behind the plate. There were a couple of times in that shutout that there was runners at third, less than 2 outs, and we went breaking balls in the dirt, and he blocked those things and didn't allow that run to score. And then he steps up there with the big grand slam, man. Phenomenal way to get us back going and kind of playing downhill that last game.
I think one of the major questions that at least we had coming into the weekend, and not so much because we didn't think the guys you had there would play well, but we just didn't know, was the middle infielders.
Yep.
Thomas Green, Camden Gasser, Ty Gill. All three of those guys I thought played really well over the weekend, played defense really well,
yes.
And you were solid up the middle. And I think that was, for me at least, was a question that I had about seeing those guys for the first time, and they really came through for you.
They did, and especially playing on dirt. It's a big difference playing on dirt compared to turf. And I just thought Gasser and Green played phenomenally defensively. Ty made some nice plays as well, but that was the biggest. We were just like you guys with our coaching staff. How well, because we lost such good players, and Albrecht and Tates have been a steady force for the last few years, and so we didn't know. But I tell you what, it was great to see those guys flying around and really making athletic plays that really saved us. To be honest with you, just going back and watching the games yesterday, we really played well defensively in all those games.
Cole Van Assen, Sunday in relief.
Yes.
I mean, just what you needed after things had gotten away from you a little bit early. Comes out there in his collegiate debut, put him in maybe kind of a soft spot where there wasn't a ton of pressure considering the score.
Right. And
3 2/3 would have gone 4 scoreless if not for an error with 2 outs in his last inning.
Yep.
Lambert, your lefty, gave you a nice outing to close out the win Saturday night as well. So the relief was there when you needed it, especially later in the series.
It was, and I can't say enough about Cole. Man, just a phenomenal young man, has great presence, never gets too high, never gets too low, but really competitive internally. And he's hard to square up. He gets a good sink on his fastball. He's not afraid of the strike zone. That's the biggest thing for a young guy coming into to Division I baseball, is they're not afraid of contact. He's not afraid of contact. He's like, here it is, and he pours it in there. And we played great defense behind him. And so what a huge asset for us, especially when we didn't get some older guys with Pratt and Suval that didn't perform very well the day before. We were a little bit of a bind as far as our staff was concerned. So big asset for us, and looking forward to Cole continue to develop in our program.
From the coach's perspective, who is somebody that we haven't mentioned yet that deserves a shout out, that played pretty well this weekend, that maybe the numbers don't jump off the page at you, especially when you got Sutter and Gaffney doing what they did?
I thought a lot of guys, Gaskin had the big hits. I thought Tommy Green's defense was really way better than what we had expected. I mean, he made a lot of diving plays, a lot of balls in the 6 hole when he was at short, made some plays at second base. I thought, Wes Gingers came off the bench and made some really nice plays in the outfield for us. So I thought, Brody and Keenan Spence both had some good at bats at times. It's a great situation, but we got some guys that we got to keep rotated in there. There was a lot of guys I felt like just really stepped up, and I was just so pleased with our perseverance this weekend. Getting down 4-0, get down 5-0, and I haven't had this happen in a while in my career, and Sutter's over there in the dugout, and we're down 4 or 5 or nothing, and it's like the second inning or so, and he says, "Hey, Coach, we got this," and that just says a lot to the character and these guys' belief in each other that really is different.
Houston is used to launching things in an orbit. Has Keenan Spence's home run landed yet?
I tell you, there was no doubt. You didn't have
when
to.
He hits it.
You didn't have much of a tough call on that one, did you, Kyle? It was pretty much off the bat if it was going to stay in the park or not, basically. But good to see. That was a huge home run.
Yeah.
To tie that game up. And just really, I felt like when he did that, the way it went out of the park, just our guys just really went this way, and their team kind of went the other way. And from there on, we kind of had the game in hand.
You have some guys who look the part, and he is one of them.
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
we do. You know, we Coach Webb was talking about this before. You know, on Sunday when we were coming back, you know, our average weight's, you know, around 205. You know, it's come a long way in the last few years, and you know, we're a lot more physical, a lot stronger. You know, I thought it paid off this weekend with the amount of extra base hits that we hit.
Give us a quick rundown of George Mason. The numbers don't look that great from last weekend, but they played some good competition, and they've had a good team. Yeah. I would imagine that you anticipate that George Mason will be better than what it looked like in weekend number 1.
They are way better. I watched them last night. I was up here last night late and just getting the scouting reports ready. They are good. You know, the Friday night guy was a big-time pitcher for him last year. He got off to a bad start, you know, on Friday against Duke. And they got to him a little early. But I'm just telling you, like, they play the way we like to play. They like to play fast. Man, you're going to see guys running the bases and putting pressure. I really like their top of the order. My goodness. It'll be a way different. That scores do not indicate the first 2 games of the year for them. And we know we'll have to show up and play. You know, I think they're better than Stony Brook, to be honest with you, just looking at them on film. You know, we'll see. You just never know. It's early in the year, and you just never know what you're going. You know what's going to happen out there.
Well, best of luck. We're looking forward to getting back out there again already. We'll be here soon enough.
Looking forward to it. Can't wait to get back to North Carolina, see old Judge and the rest of our fans and friends over there.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Jordan Morales will join us, the Friday pitcher for the Boilermakers. That's next. This is This Week in Purdue Baseball. One of the stars for the Boilermakers in the opening weekend, senior starter Jordan Morales for the Boilermakers got Purdue off to just a fantastic start. Sort of, I think, probably a dream-like start for you, right, when you're making your debut for a new school.
Oh, yes, for sure. I mean, getting to, you know, get the ball on opening day was something special for me, something that I never got to do, start a game on opening night. So being able to do that and, you know, start it out in a big way and get a team win was pretty special to me.
What did you feel like was working well? Obviously, you must have been feeling pretty good to be able to throw the scoreless innings like you did. Part of the shutout there with Jackson Danley. Did you feel like you had your pitches working? Yeah,
I felt like I had all 3 pitches. I felt like I could throw them for strikes whenever I wanted. You know, mainly I would say I was just on the attack. I just let my defense play behind me, and you know what? They made really good plays behind me. You know, shout out to Brody Crispin for throwing the guy out at the plate. That was pretty awesome. I mean, I just felt great. You know, I felt like I was rolling and just like pitching the contact and, you know, getting the guys out.
The lefty-lefty matchup, the most favorable in front of the pitcher, it always seems, and coaches always believe that. Mm-hmm. So you're going to see a lot of righty-heavy lineups.
Yes.
And I think there was 7 righties, 2 lefties in the lineup for Stony Brook this weekend. When it comes to facing those guys for second or maybe third time, what do you kind of focus on to mix it up?
Kind of what I would focus on to mix it up is, you know, I wouldn't say so much. I would think that for me, it's just trusting my stuff and being able to, you know, start it in the zone and when I need to go out for a strikeout pitch, just know where I need to start my pitches and where I need to execute them. I felt that on Friday, I felt that, you know, me and Newman were on the same page, just being able to, obviously, I came with them from Penn State, you know, so we have that chemistry there, but, you know, being able to just be on the attack and just keep on doing what I was doing the entire time was what led me for success, and obviously going through a third time through a lineup as well.
At Penn State, they were kind of renowned for mixing up their rotation or using guys whenever they felt like it best suited the situation.
Yeah.
Is it more comfortable for a pitcher to know I'm taking the ball Friday night to start the game?
Yeah, I would say so. It allows me to, you know, get everything I need to get done and during the week and, you know, get my preparation and everything like that. So as a pitcher, it was huge to, you know, get those things done and know exactly when you're going to get the ball and you be mentally ready.
You must have a pretty close relationship with Josh Newman, Purdue's new pitching coach who came over here and from Penn State. You did as well. Mm-hmm. Just what was it about that relationship that made you want to continue it here at Purdue?
Just the way he is. I mean, Josh Newman means a lot to me. he means a lot to me and my family, and I know that I mean a lot to him. The connection we have is unbelievable. He's always someone that I can talk to when the ups and the downs. So I feel like we're always on the same page, and he gets me and I get him. So I'm very fortunate to be here with him, and yeah.
Purdue has 3 lefties in the weekend rotation, yourself included, with Jonathan Blackwell and Luke Wagner. Is there some kinship there between the 3 of you? Do you talk? I would imagine you do, because you're going to be similar in the fact that probably opponents are going to load up from the right side against you. And what is sort of that communication like?
Yeah, it's awesome. I was fortunate enough to have JB as my roommate this past weekend. So, I was talking pitching with him, and obviously he got to start on Saturday. He did amazing as well. Just being able to talk to him and just tell him, how I went about my business versus Stony Brook game. And, we just go hand in hand and just going back and forth and feeding each other information. I feel like also during the games we also just, talk to each other and say, just be on the attack, or, how certain people see the hitters and stuff like that. So we just give each other feedback. And, that's just not only just me and JB, Kyle Lewinsky. We were doing the same thing in the dugout, same with Luke Wagner and all those guys. So we just, give each other feedback and just try to, be there for one another and have each other's back.
Your catcher, Connor Cascanet, had himself a game Friday, had himself a series. 2 oppo bombs, caught a shutout. What's it like working with him? And Kyle and I, when we had him on the show last year, one of the most interesting things we've ever heard a guest say, he knew he needed to work on blocking pitches or catching, receiving pitches from left-handers, that he felt like that was a weakness. Well, man, he's getting a lot of reps this year.
Yeah.
Have you noticed improvement on that front? I guess you didn't see him last year, but has that ever come up again?
I would say because I always throw in the Aaron Dolney throughout the whole fall, so I didn't get to throw to him that much. But the past couple of times I've thrown to him in my preparation during the week, he's been nothing but amazing. Me and him have been on the same page as well. He's given me, good visuals for my pitches, and I always feel like he's there with me, along the ride during the games. He's another guy that's in the dugout, talking to us, encouraging us, and always, being by our side. So, doing the stuff he does is unbelievable, and I'm very thankful for him, and I know that all the rest of the pitching staff is as well, because he's awesome, man.
It's unique that when we get a newcomer, whether it's a transfer or freshman, whatever, joining the crew, that they have already played at Alexander Field. Well, that was the case for you, having pitched there last year, that doubleheader in mid-April, Purdue, Penn State. Did you think of it as a pitcher's park when you were looking at coming here? Was that part of the selling factor?
For me, it wasn't the selling factor. Obviously I knew it was a beautiful park. The selling factor for me was I just know the type of team that this college had, and also just knowing Josh and the connection I had with Josh allowed me to, make the decision to come here, and, who wouldn't want to come to this place? It's amazing. But yeah, that's what I would say.
You've been working your way west a little bit, LaSalle, Penn State, Purdue. Just tell us a little bit about the journey and getting here to West Lafayette.
Okay. This one's kind of a big one. So
give us the shorter version.
The shorter version. So back in 2021, during COVID, LaSalle cut baseball and 7 other sports. So due to that, I had to find a new home. So we got to play our season in 2022. And then after that, I had to obviously find a new school. And I was lucky enough to obviously get to Penn State. One of my best friends from home told Coach Newman about me, and he came down to see me in North Carolina. So I ended up, he came down to see me a couple of times, and then I went to Penn State. I loved it there. It was a great journey over there. And then I was thinking about not playing baseball again. And then, my friend from Penn State as well just told me to, I should probably go and play for Purdue. So I ended up doing that, and I'm here now.
And you're a Philly guy through and through, correct? And
Yes.
we know you love the Phillies.
Oh,
They've
yes,
had
of
quite the
course.
run the last couple years.
Of course.
Do you have a second favorite Philadelphia team besides the Phillies?
Oh, the Eagles.
I figured you might say
I'm a
that.
big Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah.
Sure, and they've had quite the couple seasons, too. And Penn State, too. I mean, the 22 season at Penn State was very good. I mean, I know you were among the league leaders in appearances. They went back to the Big Ten tournament, won a game there. So some exciting times in Happy Valley for you. We love to give players a chance to give some shout-outs for teammates. Maybe somebody we haven't already mentioned today. We talked a lot about pitchers and your catcher. Who else out there impressed you this weekend?
A shout-out I would say is Cam Gasser. I think he had a hell of a weekend. Oh, I should have said that.
It's the end, it's all good.
Okay. He had a great weekend. Defensively, always making the plays, even having some really good key at-bats for us, getting us going and, getting a knock and getting us an RBI, a run in. I felt like he was someone that deserves a shout-out for sure.
To try to learn more about you, Jordan, we play a game called Personal Preferences. So this is just what we would call fun facts. So there are no wrong answers, just whatever you like. We do have you pick a number, and we have you do it 3 times. And this week we're between 1 and 33. Pick a number.
Let's go 18.
18. Favorite month of the year?
Favorite month of the year? I would say June. Yeah, summer.
Right there with you.
Yep.
The beginning of summer, still got the whole summer in front of you.
Yep.
Can't beat June.
Yep.
We just passed my least favorite, January.
Oh yeah. January isn't fun. No.
The year starts off on the worst month. Okay, between 1 and 33, don't pick 18.
Let's go 8.
8. Toughest hitter for you to face among current teammates?
Connor Kaskanen. I can't get that guy out, man. I even tell my teammates every time I face him, I just can't get this guy out.
Yeah.
He's an unbelievable hitter. I can't figure it out.
I think you faced him last year at Alexander. I don't know if that comes to mind at all.
Oh, yeah, it does. Yeah, for sure.
enough.
Yeah, he's someone I couldn't get out, and I still can.
You're not alone on that front. All right, last one between 1 and 33.
Let's go 3.
3. Favorite athlete or coach, current or retired?
Favorite athlete, I would say, is Mike Trout. Yeah, that's someone I always looked up to, like growing up as a baseball player. It would be him for sure. And then if it was a hometown hero for the Phillies, it would probably be Shane Victorino.
Okay,
that was a family favorite of mine, so
I could see
would have
that.
to go that one.
Yeah, Victorino was fun to watch, and Trout and Victorino have some similar styles of play, so I could see. Were you a two-way guy in high school?
Yes, I was.
I would assume.
Yep.
So George Mason this weekend, I would imagine you guys want to keep some momentum back on the road again. What do you have to do to try to win another series?
I would just say go out there and do the same thing we did. We showed passion the entire weekend. Everybody was, invested into the game, willing to do anything they could for their teammates. I would just say that we would just have to play our game. Obviously we have to pitch, play defense, hit. But we just got to go out there and just be ourselves. And I think at this point everybody knows how we can play and just believing in one another.
Well, Jordan, appreciate the time. Best of luck this Friday.
Thank you.
Make it another solid start for the Boilermakers. All right, that'll do it for the show for this week. A thanks to Greg Goff, Jordan Morales. For Ben Turner, I'm Kyle Charters, back again at this time next week on This Week in Purdue Baseball.